Hi, it's Justin Williams. I'm glad that you're at our site. Thank you for stopping by. I want to talk to you today about something that is very, very important to a large number of Americans. It's about a drug that is dangerous and is being used what is called off-label and is literally killing tens of thousands of people in America every year. Most people are not aware of the dangers of the drug. Most doctors do not understand the use of the drug and why it's dangerous to most patients that it's used for. I'm talking about a drug with the generic name Amiodarone. The brand names are Pacerone and Cortisone. It's made by most of the generic companies that provide drugs to pharmacies in America. It's also made by Wyeth and Upshur Smith. Let me tell you a little bit about the history of amiodarone. It was never patented by a company. There wasn't a traditional brand name. There was no FDA-sponsored double-blind studies of the side effects of amiodarone. When amiodarone was approved, it was approved as a drug of last resort for two conditions: ventricular tachycardia and ventricular arrhythmias, which are basically the same condition, which is serious heart attacks. If you've watched a TV show about doctors, you may have seen something called a crash cart, where somebody has coded and is having a heart attack and they say, hit them with the amiodarone. Amiodarone is called a rhythm or rate control drug. It's a drug that keeps or allows the heart to beat in serious situations. Unfortunately, even though it's only approved as a drug of last resort, over the last 30 years, the majority use of amiodarone, 80 to 85% of the use in America, is off-label for a condition called atrial fibrillation, that is irregular heartbeat. Amiodarone should not be used in that situation because it's used as a drug of last resort. It was approved as a drug of last resort for people who were likely or a high percentage chance of dying. The reason it's not approved for atrial fibrillation is atrial fibrillation can be controlled by a number of less toxic medicines. It could also be controlled by changes in lifestyle. But it is not necessary to give someone a drug that has, according to the black box warning, 17% toxicity with 10% death, that causes death by pulmonary fibrosis, which is essentially the sacs in your lung filling with fluids and you not being able to breathe until you eventually drown from your own fluids. It causes thyroid cancer, and it causes blindness among the side effects. It's a very dangerous drug. It should not be used unless it is for a serious life-threatening condition. We started accepting cases involving amiodarone when we found out that the FDA had required that all of the manufacturers of amiodarone, of Pacerone and Cortisone, provide each patient who gets a prescription or a refill of amiodarone receives something called a medication guide. It's a 1 to 2 page document that explains the dangers and uses of amiodarone in very simple English. It's very simple language. It's not a document that contains the chemical formulation of the drug or contains a lot of scientific material. It's not for doctors or pharmacists. This medication guide is for the patient. It provides you the kind of information you would need to evaluate whether you or your loved one should take this drug, whether your particular health situation is such that this drug and its potential side effects is of benefit to you. Lots of people who are having no other alternative or no other treatment has worked need the drug. We have not advocated that amiodarone be taken from the market. What we've advocated for and what we advocate for in representing you is that you be provided the informed choice of whether or not you want to take amiodarone for your health condition. What we found in representing amiodarone clients is that a large percentage of the time, it's the first drug or first course of treatment that is given for people with atrial fibrillation, which is non-life-threatening. That if they don't take amiodarone, they're not likely to die from the condition they have. And then they or their loved ones ends up dying from pulmonary fibrosis or thyroid cancer or going blind. Those are not the kind of side effect risk that one would want to take when you don't have a life-threatening condition. That's why the medication guide and its plain language, easily understood, is so important to patients. Read the materials in the medication guide. If you or your loved one has taken amiodarone and you've either gone blind or you've developed thyroid cancer or you've developed pulmonary fibrosis or amiotoxicity, which is another one of the ways that they unfortunately often have that diagnosis on a death certificate. If those have happened to you or a loved one and you didn't receive the medication guide, or you were provided the drug or given the drug for atrial fibrillation without being provided the medication guide warnings, call us. Our law firm is here to help you. We have partnered with a couple of other law firms, and we have cases all over the nation against the manufacturers of this drug, and we are trying to ensure that every patient who gets a prescription, gets a medication guide, is properly informed of the risk of taking amiodarone and can make an informed choice like the FDA designed, so that you know that if you're taking it for a non-life-threatening condition, that the drug was not approved for that, that the side effects are severe and could be deadly. Give us a call if you've had a problem with this drug. Thank you.